This is the Stan Johnson of the Prophecy Club. Daniel 7, verse 5 already took place. In other words, was already fulfilled. So this is a video I was watching put up by GMS Vegas sit downs on 144K. And the speaker is Elder Karatazar. I get mixed up with Kazakh. When I say Karatazar, I say Kazakh, or Kazakh, I say Karatazar. I get them two names mixed up because they sound somewhat similar to me. But anyway, he had put up a video. As a matter of fact, he put it up today. Today's date is September 14, 2022, year of YAHAWASHI, turning up. And for that matter, by SHAM, QADASH, they're turning up as well. Because everything is worked through the spirit. The Most High works through his angels, through the spirits. Anyway, the title of his video, GMS Vegas Sit Downs video, is Stan Johnson of the Prophecy Club tries breaking down the prophecies in Revelation. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole video. It's 33 minutes long. But I did go, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes in. And at around the 5 minute 10 second mark, this is what he says. Now, he says he's known for saying that Babylon in the book of Revelation and various books in the Old Testament prophets, that he says that these all point to, the USA. So he's right on that. But he's wrong on this right here. This, like I said, Daniel chapter 7, verse 5 already took place. And for that matter, Daniel 11 already took place. There's no, you can't, if you open up Daniel chapter 11 and say this is talking about the Antichrist and great rapture, you don't understand the prophecies of the scriptures. Daniel chapter 9 has already, the complete chapter, I believe that's 27 verses long, that's already been fulfilled. Daniel 7, most of it has been fulfilled. We're in the time of Daniel 7 coming into verse 8, verse 9. Also, Daniel chapter 2, most of that has been fulfilled. We're in the time of the feet of it. And when that stone, not cut out by hands, if I'm quoting it right, I'm paraphrasing, shall destroy the feet, and the whole statue, if you will come down. That's what time we're living in. We're living in the time just when that stone, that rock, hits the foundation, which is the feet of it, and bring this whole system down. If you go back to Daniel chapter 7, it said the other beasts or nations, how did he say it? I'm not going to go to it, but it was they were also alive at that time. I may just go into read that myself anyway, but it's a matter of fact, let me go ahead and do this so I can read it right. I want to put this in here too. You got IUIC. We've been going back and forth. Well, not back and forth, but we've been doing a lot of videos focusing on IUIC concerning the MOTB. And pretty much they're saying it's sin was clearly, that's not even an educational guess. That's not even a scholarly guess. You can guess on things, but you're not even close. Then at one time they said it's Christianity, which we were all, that means we all got it, because all of us was raised up by our parents, mothers or parents, in Christianity. We all thought that as children that the Lord was a so-called white man, because it was you know, what's the word? It was put in our brains. It was um, seared like an iron. It was seared in our brain. We were programmed to believe that because that's all we had. That's all we had. Then you had the Muslim, the NOI, and the so-called uh, Black Power movement, which led into, Jake's being more self-conscious of themselves. The whole black thing, and we got to get away from the white man type, which leads to these various different groups that you see out here, including you had the group that went back to Demona Israel. They went to Africa first, and then they went to Israel. And there's literally got to be at least 500,000 out there. I don't know the exact number. They've been there since 69, 70, late the 69, 70. So we're talking 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020. We're talking over 50 years. So that could be 4 generations right there. You got people that were born in Demona, Israel, that left of Demona, Israel, and went back. There was a big funeral. I believe the individual's name was Ariel. I believe, somebody could correct me. And you had a lot of different groups of Israelites go over there to, pay their last respects. But there was an interview done by I'm gonna get back into the subject. Bear with me. Saw another interview one individual, a young man, and he said that he's from that group at the moment he was born. I believe he was born there, but he kind of came back to the Americas. So now he's in America. I believe he's in Chicago. That's where the interview was conducted. And he said that he was actually born in Israel. He was, if I'm not mistaken, either he was born in Israel and came to the Americas, or was born in America and went to Israel. But I believe he was born in Israel. And so a lot of them speak that Hebrew that the small hats speak, and they speak it fluently too. So they were actually raised up as being Israelites, right? So anyway, let me get into this here. Let me go to Daniel 7 real quick. And it's important to go through these prophecies. If you go to Apostle Ramlab's page, he's doing a lot of breakdowns. Hermeneutics. I like to use that term, which pretty much means, interpretation of scriptures. So the main thing you have to, be up on is the prophecies. Because when you read other scriptures, they're pretty much, if you read about David and what David did and Saul, that's pretty much history. No one has to break down, David getting with Bathsheba. You don't have, what's the spiritual significance? No, he got with the woman. He committed the sin of adultery, which means, according to IUIC and ISUPK, King David got the mark of the beast. Oh, and I was going to say this. They said that the mark of the beast is sin. Then they said it's Christianity. Then it said it's being a part of this man's system. Well, wait a minute. You have a 501c3. Doesn't that make you a part of this man's system? So if you have a 501c3, doesn't that mean you accepted the MOTB? That's another one I just threw out there. You bowed down to the system. You complied with the system. So anyway, let's go into this. Daniel 7. See, this part right here is not talking about the Roman Empire. It's talking about this current system today. So there was 2 parts to the Roman system. Okay, so this is what I want to get into, the 12th verse. As concerning the rest of the beasts, the lion with eagle's wings, the bear that stood up on one side and had 3 ribs in its teeth, the leopard, the 4 wings, I believe that's wings. Let me go back to that. The 4 wings. Yeah, 4 wings of a fowl. The leopard represents the king of Greca, Daniel 8, and the wings represent well, it's wings and then heads. It says the beast had also 4 heads. And that's a whole nother lesson, right? Concerning the rest of the beasts. So the rest of the beasts are still here, but they're not in their power seat. Read Daniel 4, verse 17. Moses takes down one nation, sets up another nation. So the remnant, the people of the Babylonian Empire are still here. The people of the Persian, the descendants of the Persians and the Medes are still here. The Greeks are still here. And you have scholars that refer to the Roman Empire as the Greco-Roman Empire because they took over after the Greeks. And a lot of them had Greek names. So they pretty much followed the customs of the Greeks. It says, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season of time. They're still here. Because what are they going to do? They're going to come up under us. They're going to be our subjects. And that's all I want to read on that. But let me let you listen to what he said.
Let's listen real quick, and then we'll definitely get some precepts.
Why horse? And he that sat upon him is called, excuse me, back in as I get my scriptures. And he that sat upon him is called a white horse, and he was given a bow and a crown, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Meaning, one of the things we'll see when
that's talking about YAHAWASHI coming back. That goes hand in hand with Revelation chapter 19. The white horse. He's also known as coming back in a white cloud. The horse represents power. That's talking about our Lord.
the tribulation starts as the start of war. No, Ukraine is not it. I do think it is the start of World War III. 2/22 of 2022, the start of World War III, which will go on up to where the bear will have 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and there will be Estonia, Latvia, and Ukraine.
Yeah, so the author of the video stopped it and he's going to give his commentary. So you know he's off. He's off. That has nothing to do. The white horse in Revelation 6 has nothing to do with Russia. The white horse in Revelation 6 are not the Russians. What else did he say? He said, let me let you listen to it again so I can get my thoughts together.
I get my scriptures. And he said, "I was called a white horse, and he was given a bow and a crown, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." Meaning, one of the things we'll see when the tribulation starts is the start of war. No, Ukraine is not it. I do think it is the start of World War III. On 2/22 of 2022, the start of World War III, which will go on up to where the bear will have 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and there will be Estonia, Latvia, and Ukraine.
That's not talking about that. The bear with the 3 ribs in his mouth standing on one side already took place. It's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. It started off with the Medes, and ultimately the Persians were the dominant. That's what it meant by standing on one side. The Persians were more vast, and I guess by numbers. So it was like a joint kingdom, joint empire, two nations coming together. And that's what's happening now. You got the BRIC nations, you got NATO, you got the EU. So let me come over here. I'm not going to make this long. So I went to the Bible Hub, to the commentary, and even these people got it right. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to go to certain points. Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges, and I'm going to read which one? What the other one? I'll read this one. Ellicott's commentary for English readers, right? So I read this whole thing. Domestic animal, blah 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 blah. It said the kingdom denoted by it corresponds to the silver kingdom, Daniel 2:32. The image head was of fine gold, his breasts and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, which was inferior a metal, but a stronger metal to that of Nebuchadnezzar, i.e. the empire of the Medes, right? It started as the Medes, as was pointed out in Daniel 2:39. The book of Daniel represents the Chaldean Empire, the Babylonians Empire, as succeeded not immediately by Cyrus, but by a Median ruler, Darius. And it was Darius the Mede that put out the order to take Nebuchadnezzar out of the scene. It was a surgical strike. It says it raised up one side. This is the Masoretic reading. It was raised up on one side, follows a reading implying a change of only 1 point found in some MSS. I don't know what that means. Somebody can help me out with the MSS. And additions, I guess that stands for Masoretic text, but possesses less authority. The two readings, I'm going to get to the point here. Animals intended to aggressive, soldiers ready to use its pause on that side. The rendering of AV and RV Marge raise up one dominion implies shatter for satyr, that is not probable. And it, see, they give you all this gobbledygook. It had 3 ribs. As the prey which it had seized, those who regard the bear as symbolizing the Medo-Persian Empire. So they were right on this one. Generally, it's good to go to these commentaries just to see what they're thinking. Suppose the 3 ribs to denote Libya, Babylonia, and Egypt, and they were right. 3 prominent countries conquered, the first 2 by Cyrus, and the third by Cambyses. I believe that's actually Cambyses II, if you want to be exact. When you read Daniel 11 chapter, and it said there were 3 kings, 4 kings, but the 4th king shall be richer than them all. Well, this is the first of the 4 kings. The last was Xerxes. You know, when you watch the movie 300, they got it King Leonidas went to battle with, that was supposed to be Xerxes. In the scriptures, he's known as Osiris. So one of his women, wives, was what's her name? Esther. It said, but it is quite possible that the ribs in the creature's mouth are meant simply as an indication of its veracity. No, it doesn't. No. There's a reason why it was raised up on one side. The bear was raised up on one side, and there's a reason there was 3 ribs, not 4, 5, or 6, or even 1, because those ribs represent conquering of other nations and are not intended as an allusion to 3 particular countries absorbed by the empire which it represents. Now it says here, arise, devour much flesh, as its nature would be prompt it to do. The Medes are the people whom the Hebrew prophets of the exile represent as summoned to destroy Babylon. Isaiah 13:7 has that's future prophecy. Isaiah 21 verse 2. When you go down, it speaks about Babylon is fallen in Isaiah 21. Jeremiah 51:11, it's talking about a future prophecy. Jeremiah 51:28, a future prophecy. Isaiah 13:17-18, the future prophecy gives a graphic picture of the insolence and cruelty of their attack. And that's not talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. So now let's go over here to Ellicott's commentary for English readers. And let me go right to the one side, all right? As you read the kingdom would come into greater prominence than the other, such as the case with Medo-Persian Empire. Daniel 8:3. Daniel 8:3, and I'll read that. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. The higher that came up last is the Persians, in which the Persians eliminated, surpassed the Medians. 3 ribs. These could not signify the people who constitute the Second Empire, but rather some kingdoms which had already been subdued by it. And by the command, arise and devour, the Second Empire is permitted to make further conquest before its disappearance. The 3 ribs have been understood from the time of Saint Hippolytus to mean 3 nations: the Babylonians, the Libyans, and the Egyptians. And that's all I gotta read. See, these people, the scriptures, the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 1 verse 10 that you all speak the same thing. That's why you have so many denominations, because they all have their take on something, which shows you that they don't have the gospel. Jehovah's Witness can't have the gospel, and Baptists can't have the gospel at the same time, because they teach different things. Jehovah's Witness, they teach that there's no such thing as hell, and that when you die, you cease to exist. Well, how do you explain 2 Corinthians chapter 5? Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom on to the next one.